Oh, hello everybody. Welcome to the Daily Splatt. And yes, I am back from my little trip out to Wagin, a brief sojourn into the Western Australian countryside. A lovely little place, had a fantastic time, and I've arrived back in Perth just in time for the start of the new Premier League season. So let's get cracking. So we're on to preview number 16 today in our series of 20. And today, that means we are previewing Swansea City. So, this time a year ago, Swansea, newly promoted to the Premier League, Brendan Rodgers in charge, got thumped by Manchester City 4-0 on their opening round of fixtures. However, they recovered from that spectacularly and ended up finishing 11th in the table on 47 points. So, what can we expect from them this year? Well, it's going to be a bit different. Rodgers is no longer there. He's left them Swans to go manage Liverpool. That offer came up and it's quite hard for someone to turn down, really, and Rodgers has gone and he's focusing on them. Where does that leave Swansea? Well, they were searching for a manager. They've ended up going with former Denmark international Michael Laudrup, who's certainly looking relatively promising. It'll be interesting to see what he does. If his signings are anything to go by, he's going to try and keep Swansea playing under that Brendan Rodgers philosophy. He's brought in some very interesting players, just to list them here. In the very last couple of hours, it's been confirmed that Kyle Bartley has been signed from Arsenal. Now, a couple of you won't know who Kyle Bartley is. Indeed, I know him because he appears on FIFA a bit. Basically, he's one of Arsenal's good young players that, apparently just hasn't quite made the grade with Arsene Wenger's team. However, Swansea are more than happy to have him, and they've signed him on a 3-year deal for an undisclosed fee. So it'll be interesting to see how young Kyle does there. Other signings they've already announced so far. Jonathan de Guzman has arrived on a season-long loan, which will be fantastic for Swansea, able to attract players from top Spanish clubs, this Spanish club being Villarreal, of course. De Guzman should add something to the midfield. Of course, this is a midfield which has recently lost Joe Allen, but we'll get onto that in a moment. They've also signed the excellent £2 million rated and indeed signing midfielder Michu. Now, those of you who don't know Michu scored an incredibly large amount of goals, despite being a central midfielder, for Rayo Vallecano last season in La Liga. And the fact that Swansea have been able to pick him up for so cheap is kind of impressive, particularly when Michu is being linked with a lot of relatively big Premier League sides, including Arsenal and Manchester United. So, well done there to Swansea. He does look a really promising player. Jamie Proctor has also joined Swansea for an undisclosed fee from Preston. He's a young striker, only 21 years of age. Not even that, 20 years of age, so hoping to promote him through the team and see how he does. And the other signing that they've announced for £2 million is a man by the name of Chico. He's a defender. He is relatively young. Well, he's starting to reach the peak of his powers, you'd argue. He's 25, so he's starting to get to that age where he's playing well. He's been pretty consistent, I would say, for the teams he's played for, which recently have been Genoa and Mallorca, and he's arrived also for £2 million. It'll be interesting to see if he can adapt to the Premier League. So Swansea have been getting reinforcements because obviously they want to fight off the dreaded second season syndrome, and they've done quite well in. They haven't really lost any of that team as yet, with the exception of Joe Allen. They have let go of Freddie Bodd and Scott Donnelly, but in terms of players that were playing regularly and doing well under Rodgers last season, only Joe Allen has gone, and admittedly he's gone to join Brendan over at Liverpool. They've missed out on signing Gylfi Sigurdsson, because if Rodgers was still there, Sigurdsson would have gone, and then Rodgers moved, and then Sigurdsson could have gone to Liverpool, and then the wage demands went up, and now he's at Tottenham. So, that's just the way it turns out. But they've still got a good, solid team there. However, recent rumours, and indeed reports, state that Scott Sinclair could be on his way out. He's apparently refused to sign a contract extension, and he has been linked with Manchester City in recent weeks. It would be a really big shame for them if they did lose Sinclair, because he really came into his own for the Swans last season, along with players like Nathan Dyer, who generally did quite well in midfield. Of course, the excellent Michel Vorm in nets was fantastic. Ashley Williams, an outstanding centre-back. Leon Britton in the centre of midfield, continuing to play excellent stuff. And, a lot of these players are bright. And, of course, the forward Danny Graham, who didn't do too bad for them either. if they can keep that core of players, I think they'll stay up. And indeed, with the players they've added, Michu and Chico in particular, I think they're going to do... I've got into Guzman, that was the other one. I think they're going to do all right. However, I don't think they're going to do as well as last season. In my little table of prediction-y things, I had them finishing 16th. And I don't think they're going to be relegated unless they suffer a series of bad injuries. I think, sort of 14th, 15th, 16th is where they'll finish. They'll be in sort of the middle of the bottom half. But they do have to be careful that they aren't found out by a lot of teams. Obviously, quite a lot of their points came as a bit of a surprise. They beat the likes of Manchester City and Arsenal last season, and Liverpool when people weren't expecting them to. Those teams, I think, will be more ready to take on a slick passing Swansea outfit, and I think a lot of the rest of the league will be ready for them as well, or at least a bit more ready for them. And I think Swansea aren't going to get as many points this year. However, I do think they'll stay up. I like the look of them, and I think Laudrup's made some good signings, and I think things look promising for Swansea. I think, if they get through this season and play all the cards right, they could well do what Fulham have done in the last 10 years, and indeed Stoke in the last 5, and become one of those established mid-table Premier League sides that, aren't really contending with relegation, but they have to get through this season and survive. Just keep surviving. That's the ambition, and I think they will. So that is all for the Swansea preview. I'm going to say they're going to finish 16th, but 14th to 16th is kind of the range I think they'll finish in. Tomorrow, Tottenham. Yes, now Spurs, of course, lots going on there. They will be playing at Newcastle United in the next, in this first round of fixtures. So we'll be talking about Spurs prospects. And I'm really glad the Premier League's back. I'm looking forward to watching it tonight. And yes, we will finish off these preview videos over the next couple of days. Anyway, that is all. Glad to be back and speak to you all soon. Okay, bye-bye.